Hello everyone, welcome to this episode. And in this episode, I would like us to look at creating to-do application using Livewire, Folio, and Laravel Livewire Volt. So let us go ahead and create a fresh installation of Laravel. So we are going to run the command composer, create project Laravel, and then the name of our project, let me call it to-do application, like that. And then this command will install for us a fresh install of Laravel. I give it some time and then we continue. Our application is fully installed, so I would like to change directory and move into the directory that has our CRUD application. So I will do cd to do application. We are inside here. I would like us to install three things. I would like us to install Livewire. And then I also want us to install Laravel Folio. And Folio basically assists us in routing. So mostly in Laravel, you will find that we have a file called web.php. Or in other words, the routing folder where we usually put our routes. But with Folio, it's possible for us to just be able to put our routes within the page that we are working with. So then after that, I also want to install Volt, which which works very well as an API for Livewire, and it can be able to assist us to be able to lift so many things that we actually do in Livewire and make them a little bit easier for us to work with. So let us go ahead and install those ones. We are going to have composer require, and I would like to install all of them at once. So let us install Livewire. So Livewire /Livewire. I also want us to involve Volt, and the command is Livewire /Volt. So if we are to install each one of them, I will do composer require Livewire, it will install Livewire, and then composer require Livewire Volt, it will install Volt, and then on top of that, composer require Laravel /Folio. So I'm going to press enter and it will install for us all these three packages that we require for this tutorial episode. So let me pause the video as it installs, and then I will come back once the installation is complete. Our packages have been successfully installed, so I'm going to just run two commands. The first one is php artisan folio install, and this command is going to publish the folio service provider and folio scaffolding. And then I also want to run the other command, which is php artisan volt install, which is also going to publish the Volt service provider and Volt scaffolding. So let me open this application in VS Code. So this is our newly created application with Livewire installed and Volt and Folio. And so what I would like to do is just to go to app providers, and now you can see we have Folio service provider and we also have Volt service provider. Let's just click and look inside. We have a register method and we have a boot method, which is actually showing where the pages are. So in other words, for Folio, the pages will be in views pages, like that. So then when we open Volt service provider, also for this one, we can be able to check the boot method. And again, you can find that the resource path is views Livewire and then views pages. So we can actually use Volt in pages. So in other words, Volt and Folio can be able to work in the same resource path. So basically that is that. I would like to go to views, resources, views. Now you can see we have pages and we also have a folder called Livewire, those two. So this one was created because of Volt, and then this one was created because of Folio. Obviously, when we open inside, there's nothing. There's just a git keep file for both of them. So now let us go ahead and create a file, which in this case is a routing file. So I'm going to open terminal. When I open terminal, I would like us to create a route and a file. In this case, we're just going to run a simple command, and we are going to just say php artisan. And since we are using Folio, we are going to write make folio, and then the name of the file we want to create it. So in this case, we want to create maybe to do, like that. If we leave it that way, it will create for us a file in pages called to do. But if we put / and write index, now what's going to happen is that we're going to have a folder called to do and then a file called index. So let me click that. And by just doing that, we already have routing for this file that is being created in a while. My machine is a little bit having a lag. Maybe I can pause it a little. Now, as you can see, we have created a to-do index. So inside pages, we have a folder called to-do, and inside here we have index.plate. So let us open this page. And I just want to show you how nice it is. Because now when we visit, for example, here I can just say greeting, and then we visit it. In fact, let me just modify this folder name because I wanted it to be to-dos. So actually, for you to be able to create the routes, you just need to have a file inside pages. And regardless of how the file looks, so a file or maybe a folder and a file inside. So once you have it like that, you can be able to visit it. So let me run this Laravel application and show you what I mean by that. We're going to run php artisan serve to just run our application, and our application is running. I would like to visit it in Google Chrome and show you that we can actually be able to return greetings. So let us do that. So now um, when we visit localhost 8000 and then / to-dos, this is the name of the file that we're having here. And remember, Laravel has a way in which it does its routing. For example, the index file will just be found in to-dos, and then the edit and view and all those other files, you just have to do a variation, attach something in front of the sort of / to-dos and then attach something, and then it will be able to get you that. Now, when we launch this, as you can see, we have greeting. So meaning we are actually launching the real page that we are supposed to launch. Now, I want us to go ahead and create a layout file such that when we will be launching our file, we will also be including the layout. So I'm going to run the command php, and this one we just do the Livewire way. php artisan Livewire :layout, like that. And once we do that, then there is a folder called components that is going to be created, and inside components we are going to have a file called app.blade. So this is going to be our layout file. Now, since I'm interested to use Bootstrap, I will just go to get Bootstrap and get the CDN link and paste it there. Obviously, it's possible to install it such that if you want to work with it offline, but for the sake of this tutorial, I would just like us to do it quickly and skip some little bit of detail. But there are videos that I've created whereby you can be able to install Bootstrap inside your Laravel application. Now, so we have it like that. We have the CDN link, and here I just like to have a container div class container like that, and then I will close the div, and then also close the div here like that. Now what actually happens is that our whatever it is, our component that you'll be loading this layout file, and then through this slot, this is the place where we'll be injecting the file that we have just created on the other side, which is at this place here. So to do index, so this file will be injected inside there. Now I want us to include our layout, and how we are going to do that, we're just going to do so I will change, can I change the div? Maybe let me just keep the div. We can just say, to access it, we can just say X layout and then up. So inside our components file, we go to layout and then we go to up like that. And that will be able to access for us our component. And then we can be able to close the X layout again like that. So I'm going to save that. And then we also are supposed to wrap this, because now we are using folio pages, we are supposed to wrap it in Volt directive, blade directive like that. So at Volt, at end Volt. But you know, if the page, if these pages that you are just creating using Volt itself, you don't require to wrap them like this. But this one you wrap them because they are not Volt pages, but they're actually folio pages. So now I would like us to go ahead and maybe get a form which we are going to place inside here. So you go to Bootstrap again, to docs, and then probably we can be able to have a card. And so let me copy a card somewhere. Yes, let me just scroll downwards. Yeah. A card like this, you just be fine. I'll copy it, and then I'm going to paste it inside here. And then inside the card, of course, if we are to refresh our page currently, let me just do it like that. If we are to refresh our page currently, now you will find that we are actually displaying something a little bit more. We are having a problem. It says we cannot be able to locate the component. Yes, there's a typo somewhere. It's supposed to be layouts, because the layouts is the folder, not layout. It's supposed to be layouts, not layout, not singular, because the file is here. It's layouts. So layouts dot app like that. So then I can attempt to refresh the page again. And now you can see we're having our card being displayed. And probably for us to be able to use vit hot reload and all that, I can just write npm npm install. And then as it does that, we can just continue with what we are doing. I'm doing that just to prevent reloading every single time. At least you can be able to be assisted to do the reload. Now I would like to come and paste here a form. So I'll just copy a bootstrap form. And where do we have a form? Yes, here, forms overview. And we just have one input. So here I'm going to copy the form exactly the way it is. and then we are going to paste it inside here, inside the card body, like that. After that, I would like to remove some of the things that we have, for example, the checkbox, even the password field. So we just remain with one div, which is that for the email address, this one here, and I will change this to do, like that. And then for the input, the type is text. I would like to use the wire model, and wire model is a sort of the helper that assists us to do data binding in Livewire. So in this case, I will write name. So in this case, the name of the to-do. And basically that is all that you'll be providing here, and then you submit. And for us to be able to submit, I'm going to use wire submit. That is the directive that you'll be able to assist us to submit. And in this case, we can say we are just saving the file like that. So you have a method that you save for us the file. We have not been able to create a model in the migration, and that is what I would like us to do right now. So we are going to do PHP artisan make model, make full colon model, like that. And then the name of our model is going to be to do. And I want to tag the migration such that it will create for us the model and the migrations. And the model sort of is a way in which we can be able to interact with our database, and the migrations are actually database columns that are created for us. So basically, when you open database migrations, we have a file that has been created for us there because the command is successful here. And when we open it, we have a table called to-dos. So we have schema create to-dos. And then now inside that, we have a column called ID and a column called timestamp. I would like to add two more columns. So table. And the first one is a string. This one I just want it to be name. So in this case, the to-do name, whatever that means. And then I also want us to have a column that is Boolean, that we store whether the to-do is completed or not. And this one, I want it to be, so it will just be a 0 and a 1. I want the default value to be 0, like that. So now, after that, I would like us to go to our models. And inside our models, we have the to-do model. And here, I just want us to create a protected fillable, just to allow mass assignment. And you have an array of values. Here we have name, in this case the name of the to-do, which we have set in our database, and also completed. Those are the two database columns that we are having. After that, I would like to go to the env, and inside the env file, I would like to create a database called to-do application. So here, to-do application, like that. And then now I have to create that migration, but for us to be able to do that, I think in Laravel it's very easy. I can just come here because we have not created the database table. I mean the database itself, but it will create for us. So I can say PHP artisan migrate, and then as you can see, we are being asked if that the tables are not present, if we would like to create. Just in a while, we are having a problem. I have not been able to run MySQL, so I open XAMPP control panel, and then start MySQL, and then give it a while, some few seconds, and then I can be able to run the command again, php artisan migrate. Now it's asking me that I do not have a database call to do. Would I like it to be created for me? I can type yes. And now the migrations are done, but we are having a problem. What have I done? It says Boolean. Oh, I have mistyped something. So let me go and correct. In our migration, what I've written for Boolean is not Boolean, it's something else. So it doesn't know what I'm talking about. So yes, it's supposed to be Boolean, something of that sort. So I would like to just run the migration again. So we're going to do php artisan migrate fresh to just drop all the tables and create them again. And now this time round it's successful. So now I have the database table, and we can be able actually to save the to-dos in it as of now. So let us go ahead and work on our index.blade. And so here we have the wire model, and when we submit, we can be able to save the file. So we can be able to create sort of like the Volt code up here. And this is just similar to the way we do it in Livewire, only that now we are doing it in the same page. As you can see, we have not created any Livewire class. We're just working with Volt, and it's handling everything for us under the hood. And now here, I want to have a PHP directive. And remember, when you are working with Volt, this PHP directive is actually supposed to be used for Volt only. So you cannot be able to come inside this code and then say PHP like this with the way this one is. If you are to use to use PHP inside our file, then you can be able to use at PHP and at and then at end PHP and PHP like that, and then inside here you can be able to put your PHP code, but you cannot be able to use this. It's a reserve for Volt. So now let us go ahead and put some Volt code. And the first thing that I would like us to do is to just have state. So I can say use function livewire Volt, and then we are going to use state is one of the things that we are going to use. Of course, there are others that I'm going to add here. We can be able to use them comma separated. And now what I want to have is because I have the state, I can be able to just say state, and inside here we can be able to put our array of values. So in this case we can say name, sort of like properties, the way we usually declare properties in Livewire. So name, and then for at the beginning we can set it to null, so sort of like an empty string like that. And then here I can also remember to close that because it was throwing an error. Now after that, then we can be able to even have now a save function. Remember, in our form we have wire submit save, so we require to have a function that is called save. So let us go ahead and create that one. So I can use a variable save and then function. It's amazing that we are writing such kind of things in PHP, because I am used to sort of like when you look at the way Vue.js usually works, you are able to write some of these things here and declare variables and even have computed functions and so on and so forth. But for this one, it's very interesting because we're actually doing it in PHP. So now I can say save function, and then we have the open curly braces. And if you, whatever it is that you're doing is a single action, you can just use the shorthand fn and then be able to execute it like that. But for this one, maybe we can have it like that. So when we are saving, I just want us to say dd saving like that. And then I want us to go to our form and attempt to submit. So I will refresh, and now our form is here. When I click submit, it says undefined constant saving. Yes, I have typed it wrongly because it's supposed to be inside quotation marks like that. Sorry for that. So now if we are to refresh again and I click submit, now you can see we are getting the dump and die, whatever it is that is being returned from there. So in other words, that function, the save function, is being hit. So now I want us to be able to create some rules. In this case, validation rules. So I will add here where we're having state, I put comma, rules. So now we are including state and we are using rules. So I can write here rules like that, and then have an array of the rules. So in this case, we can say name, just the same way you usually have validation rules in Laravel. So you can say name, maybe required, and then continue, maybe minimum 8. You see, basically just the Laravel code. But in this case, I just want the name to be required. And since there's nothing else that we are adding or we are creating, because the boolean will be created for us in the database, so we don't have a problem with that. So now I would like us to go ahead and be able to save. And for us to be able to save, it's good for us to import the model. So we can say use app models to do, just like that. And since we have validation here, then I can just invoke the validation. So I can say this validate, just like that, and it will be able to handle the validation for us. So if I go back to my form and refresh it and then click submit, now there is validation that is being done, but I have not been able to handle the validation from my page. So let us go ahead and do that. So inside here, inside our input, immediately after our input, I would like us to have a div. Let me close the div. And then now we will be checking for errors. So what we are going to do is to check. I want to style this, and it seems it's not. Yes, now that's okay. And then now we want to check for the error. So here I can say at error, and this error is called name, because the validation, we are validating the name. And inside here we can have a span, and we can close our span like that. And then we can split our message. So in this case, the error message. So here we can pass in the message like that. Then of course we can have at end error like that. And then of course it's good for us to have at least some text that has a different color. So here we can have a class of text danger like that, and that you handle perfectly our error. So let's go back and try again. I'm supposed to refresh. Let us try. Now you can see it's saying the name field is required. I can save the validate in a variable called validated like that. So validated, this validate, and now we can go ahead and save our to do. So in this case, maybe you can just say to do like that. Create, and then we pass in our created to-dos. So basically we can just pass in validated like that, and that will be it. And I can be able to return a session message, and also reset the form. So for us to reset the form, we can just say this reset, just like that. And then of course I want us to have a session flash, and then we have a status of new to do saved, just like that. And then we can be able to just save that, and this can be able to handle that for us. But let me go ahead and just handle our flash messaging. So inside our application, we can be able to create a div, maybe even before the card or inside the card. Maybe we can put it in the card body here, and we can have, maybe we can have a div, and I will close that div like that. And then we can say at if session status, because we have named it status, and then here we can have at end if. Now if we have a status given, then we want to show to our users, so here I can have div with a class of alert hyphen success, like that. And then we can be able to close the div, and then inside this div we can be able to pass our message, in this case our session status. So I can have that session and then status, like that. So basically that is what we will do to be able to display the status. So I would like us to go ahead and refresh our page and attempt to create a to-do. So here I'm going to just write go to the market, like that, and submit. Now it is being reset, but we are not seeing our session, our flash session. We are not seeing it, so meaning there could be a problem. So we have at if status, if session status, then we have div class alert success, and then we have the close of that div and the close of the other div. I do not know why this is not displaying. Let us create another to do. Buy apples, submit. Again, it seems as if it's submitted, but it's not displaying. So let me just check our database for whether the status is being submitted, but I also would like to go to my file and check it also. So here we're having session flash status new to do saved. I think it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I think it's fine. Session flash stated to be created. I do not know why it's not showing, but let me see what I can do. Maybe we can just remove it and just type it in again. So inside our cardboard, oh, I have mistyped. It's my problem. This one is not status. Sorry for that. I don't know why I was not seeing it. Now it's fine. Let us try and see. Buy groceries. Submit. Still it's not yes because have I refreshed? So let us try again. Buy tomatoes. Submit. Yes, now our flash messaging is being displayed. New to-do saved. So basically that is that. Now I would like us to display the to-dos, and so I'm going to copy a bootstrap table. So I will go to getbootstrap.com. Then I'll go to documentation and I want to get a table. So tables are here. And then here I would like to just have a simple table like this one here. And I will copy up until here. And then we are going to paste it at the bottom, but not inside the card, at least inside one of the divs, because we are supposed to have one root element. So in this case, I'm going to close this by table body like that. I can also close it with a table that way. So I will save it. Now if we are to check, we are going to have our nicely formatted table. So if I do it like that, I refresh. Now below here we have some sort of a table. So we'll be adding the to do and then it will be displaying here. So now I would like to get the to-dos from the database, and what I'm going to do, as long as they have been saved there, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a computed property. So in this case, I'll just come here and put a comma and have computed, just like that. And then now I can be able to create that computed property, which will be getting for us the to-dos. So in this case, I can have the variable to-dos like that, and then we can be able to get the to-dos using the computed property. So computed, then inside here we can have a function, and inside the function we can return to do. And in this case, I would just like to order them by completed, order by completed, order by completed. Remember, in our table we have a column called completed, and here you can say get. So in this case, sort of like what the ones that are completed will be arranged towards the end, while the ones that are not completed will be somewhere above in our table. So basically that is what this one you do. Now I think this is fine. We can be able to show our to-dos now, and for us to be able to access the to-dos, I'm going to show them inside this table row. Before the table row, we can have a for each loop, and here we can say we can access the computed property using this. So this to-dos like that as the variable to do that way, and then we can have at end for each like that. And inside here, what I would like to have for the ID, maybe we can be able to just have the loop index. So in other words, we just be displaying the index of the values that we have. So loop index +1, like that. And by loop index, we mean is just counting the number of items that are in our array, sort of. But then it's counting from 0, so 0, 1, 2, 3. So when I write +1, I mean if it is 0, then let it be 1, like that. And then inside here, we can have our to-do. So we can say to-do name, that way. And then I can delete this other column. I don't need it. I mean, other row, I do not need it. The column, sorry. And then even this one here, I'm going to delete. And then here, we are going to just have action. And for the action, I'm going to have 2 buttons. So inside here, the first button is going to be a delete button. So in this case, I'm going to give it a class of btn danger, and then maybe btn small, and then maybe float end to just push it towards the end. And then the name of our button is going to be delete. And then on top of that, we can have another button which we are going to call completed. So button class btn success btn small float end, like that. And then we are going to call it what? Completed. So you click on this button to just confirm that a to-do has been done successfully. So now I can refresh. Now we have the to-dos looking like this. Maybe this form here, I can be able to do something to it to make it a little bit smaller. I do not know if it will look nice. Maybe let's just have it like that. And then I would like to give functionality to these forms. But first of all, before we do that, let us refresh such that we see, oh, it's already refreshed. Now we have got market, buy apples, groceries, buy tomatoes, and so on and so forth. So these are our to-dos. I would want the to-do that is complete, that it has to be given a different sort of like color. So in this case, I can just, in this table row that we have here, we can just say if to do completed. Remember in our database, we are setting completed as either 0 or 1. So we are saying if to do completed is 1, we can be able to give a class. And in this case, a class of table, table, maybe let us have it primary, like that. And then we can say at end if. So basically this is just sort of like a Laravel blade thing of working out with these things. So let me refresh. If we have no error, then everything is fine. And I also want to hide this completed button if um, the to-do is completed. So if it's completed, then we don't need the button, because even if we click on it, what will it do? So I can hide this button, and we can just use a blade directive. We can say that if in a similar fashion, to do to do completed. If to do completed, we can check the negative, or maybe we can just have it if to do completed is equals to 0. So if it is 0, to show this button, so I can have end if at end if, like that. So basically we are just having a mix of Livewire, a mix of normal blade, and so on and so forth. So when I refresh, still we are having no issues. So let me work on these two buttons. So when we click this button, we can have wire click, and here we can have completed, like that. But still I would like to, oh, this one is for delete. So this first one is delete. I think I need to change this class and send it to the other button, not this one. So cut, I'm going to put it here, and the end if is going to be for the other button, not this first one. Sorry, control, yes, I will cut it, and then we are going to paste it here that way, because the button that we want to hide is the one for completed. So I would like to have the button click. So wire click, and we can have a function that will handle our click, in this case completed. And then here I would like to pass the ID, so we can be able to just pass the ID as follows. We can say to do ID, that way. And then for this one, it's supposed to be delete. And also for this, we can be able to pass in the ID. It is necessary for us to be able to know what we are deleting. So we can be able to pass in the ID as follows: to do ID, like that. And then I close the bracket, and then like that. So we need to create these two methods. So I will scroll upwards into our file, and remember, all these functions can be able to be split into several components, but let's just have them the way they are. So we need a function called completed, and we are going to have function, and we can be able to use dependency injection to pass in our to do, because we are passing in the ID, like that. And then inside here we can handle that. I'll be able to copy this and also paste it here, and then I close this one with a semicolon, like that. So we are having, yes, even this one, probably I can close it like that, and now our error is gone. So inside here I would like us to just mark this to do completed. So what we are going to do, we are going to just say to do, and then we update it, and then inside here we can be able to have an array of values, but we'll only have one thing, which is completed, and we are setting it to 1, just that. I save that, and then of course we can be able to flash the session as we did in the previous one, and we can say task completed, task, or maybe to do completed, like that. And I think that is fine. And then down here we are going to have something similar. We are going to just say to do delete, just that. And then we can be able to pass this status as to do deleted, to do deleted. Of interest, of course, is when we go to check our web.php routes, web.php, there's no route file here. There's nothing, with an exception of this default one. All the routes are handled by Folio under the hood. So let us check if these functions will work for us. So I would like to click this first one for going to the market as complete. Now you can, oh, the buttons are, I think they are messed up. Oh, I have not changed here. This one should be deleted. Delete, not complete. Okay, not completed. So sorry for that, because the deletion occurred here. Now, when I refresh and I click on this one, now it is by apples. It is now the complete, the delete button, the completed button is now not visible. But since we have it like this, it seems we are having a problem with our class. So let me see. It seems we're having a problem with the class that we created, the one that was supposed to give it a different sort of like color. So in our table row, we said completed. If to do is completed, then we can give it a class. Let me just see what is wrong with that. Table success. Oh, not primary. Today I'm having very many typos. I do not know what is wrong with me. So we are having it like that. So it was just a typo. So if I refresh, now you can see this one is having a different color. So meaning it's a completed to do. If we also click this one, now two completed to do's. If we delete this one, now it is deleted. So basically that is everything that I wanted us to talk about in this tutorial episode. Thank you very much for following up until this point. Until next time, I ask that if you have followed the tutorial and you have not subscribed, that you kindly subscribe to my channel. And if you like the video, you can give a thumbs up. You can also share it. Thank you very much.